I'd like to share, but tonight I'd like to share a little about my journey that brought me to WFG. Back in April, I began exploring ways to create passive income. Initially, I was drawn to real estate and started studying for the license exam. Around the same time, my wife connected with Miss Odetta King. After discussing Odetta King's business, I was initially skeptical, thinking it might be another get-rich-quick scheme. However, after meeting her and learning more about WFG through several sessions, I was truly impressed by the company mission, financial education, educating families and helping them to achieve their financial goals. One thing that especially stood out to me was the IUL product. I was shocked at how many people were unaware of its benefits and potential. That is when I made a shift in direction. Instead of pursuing real estate, I chose to become a licensed agent with WFG, committed to make a difference by helping families become financially empowered. I see this not as a career move, but as a meaningful opportunity to build a business of my own without the heavy financial burden of startup capital. And again, I'd like to say thank you for all of you that are here on the session. I truly appreciate it. And I'd like to introduce Odetta King. Without no further ado, Odetta King is my financial mentor and business partner. Odetta King, she is a top financial agency broker on the East Coast of our firm. She is super passionate about educating our community. She is a business professor at New York University College, a proud and very active alumni of New York University. She speaks and offers financial literacy workshops at several public schools and churches. She is a four-time author of the books, If You Ain't Stacking, Then You're Not Dropping. This Is Why You're Broke. Let's Get Rich Journal Planner. Also, Playground Millionaire, How to Set Your Kids Up to Be a Millionaire. All are on her websites, odettaking.com, on Amazon also. Her fifth book, Faith and Finance, is launching soon. Most importantly, she's been with our firm 8 years, is a six-figure diamond ring earner in WFG, and has helped hundreds of families with their personal financial goals while building a big financial agency of licensed financial professionals across the US and Canada to reach and help more families. Our company goal is to financially educate 30 million by the year 2030. And the mission is no family left behind. And without no further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Odetta King. She's a Guyanese sister, and I know a lot of us that is on the Zoom are Guyanese. Ms. Odetta King comes from Guyana, Georgetown, Guyana. Let's welcome Ms. Odetta King.
Yay! GT in the house. Oh my God, I get super excited when I get to hear and speak and help my GT people. So who's from Guyana? Put in the chat where you're from. I see. Let's see. We've got a lot of Samsung. You're not able to put your name, but that's okay. So if you could just put in the chat where in Guyana you're from. I want to give you guys a warm welcome. Clement. My uncle name is Clement. I hope it's not Uncle Clement on right now. Is this Uncle Clement? All right, there's another uncle. Oh, no. Okay. Tandy Primo, Georgetown, Word Montvale, big up yourself. Oh, we got Ghana in the house. Ghana? You sure Ghana, not Guyana? East Coast Guyana. Okay, Lennon. I see you. Miss Enid King, Nurse Enid King. Let me just say nurse. I have to put some respect on it. Okay. Miss from Camberville. All right. And Michael is from Ghana. Michael, we have a lot of Africans in our community, in our company. One of our very good business partner, Mickey, is also from Ghana. I wish he was on. Let's see who else. Rhonda's from GT. Okay. And then we got Haitian in the house. Sac passe. And then we got the Bajans. I see the flag. Okay, Nigel, come through. Awesome, awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We've got 31 people on a Friday afternoon. Wow, this is awesome. So I want to first start, let me just, yeah, I'm going to mute everyone. Let's see, mute, so we don't get any background noise. So we don't get any background noise. Awesome. Guys, I'm super, I don't take this lightly. I'm forever grateful. This business is a blessing. It has opened so many doors for me to meet people, strangers, strangers who became friends. And now I get the pleasure to work with Gavin to help him build his business. And I want to show you guys, yesterday, let me see if I can find it. Yesterday, I was at a 2-day youth conference right here in Brooklyn. Where's the picture? Okay, here, let me share this. And this business, when I tell you it's a blessing, it truly is. I get to meet people from all walks of life who are complete strangers. How many of you heard about Dr. Sebi? Dr. Sebi, we know of him. We heard about him, right? We heard about him, right? So Dr. Sebi, this guy by the name of Dr. Lila Africa, he apparently was the number 2 to Dr. Sebi. And of course, he has also passed away, but his wife, right? His wife took up the mantle and she's continuing the work, holistic, natural healing. And I got the opportunity. She was also on this youth panel that we had yesterday in Brooklyn at Bedford Academy High School. And here she is. Let me see if I can find her picture. Yep, here she is, right? So Dr. Stevenson, and she is like the hell doctor, not like is the hell doctor. So her and I, we immediately connected, we exchanged phone numbers. We had a chance to talk about the amazing work we're both doing, me on the financial side, her on the health piece. And she immediately said, you know what, Odetta, we need to collab because I have a lot of people who need your services. And I said, wait a minute, but health and wealth goes hand in hand. So long story short, she is also now my other doctor, right, in this business. And here's a book. This is her husband, by the way, I think he has like 9 books, okay? 9 books on holistic health stuff. So this is one of the books. It's very thick. It's like a Bible. I don't have it here in my office. So she wrote, I had her autograph it. And look what she wrote, guys. Look what she wrote. To Odetta King, let your wealth of knowledge spread throughout the world, and a heart sign. OMG. I'm so excited. But guys, it gets even better, right? I'm sharing another picture from this amazing lady who is also another doctor in the sense of priesthood, right? Her and her husband was one of the guest speaker at the youth conference yesterday. And I didn't even know who he was and he didn't know who I was. But long story short, he came into my section where I set up with my table, banner, and books, giveaways. And we started talking. And when I tell you, when you think you know a lot, I say this in full transparency, even though I'm good with what I know, there's so many different aspects of finance that like this guy is like on a whole nother level, but on a higher level in the sense of he's helping people who has like billions and millions of dollars and want to buy hotels and all these like high end stuff. But long story short, um, we connected well also. And he said, you know what, Adetta, I know the kind of work I do is for the people that have a lot of money, but how many people, you know, have a lot of like couple 8, 9, 10 millions that they can work with? Your work is so important and continue. He was literally encouraging me to continue what I'm doing because the work that we're doing for the average person like you and I, it starts with us saving that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1,000, whatever, right? And having that financial education and discipline. So I'm super excited. They invited me to come out to their church and do some financial work with them. And also, I was just sharing this with my team. Let me there was also a security guard there. I don't know what's going on. There was a security guard. Let me share this. There was a security guard at the school who was actually sitting behind me. And of course, you know, he's doing his job, but he was paying attention because he's in the conference. So he sent me this text literally about 6 o'clock today saying, Grace and peace. Guys, I did not even know that this person is a man of God. See, this is why you got to be good to everybody. You got to be nice to everybody. You just never know who's who, right? You can't just say, oh, he's just a security guard. So he sent me these pictures. He sent me a text. I screenshot to hide his number. Grace and peace. God bless you, Miss King. Really enjoy your presentation on yesterday. This is Apostle. I was like, what? Who? Apostle. Okay. Valentino Davis. I was a security guard sitting behind you. Please, I think he missed a word there. Please, my wife and I to your Monday program. So yesterday at the school, I was, you know, talking about we have financial workshops, and I gifted him this book. And by the way, if you guys want a copy of this book, definitely reach out to the person who invited you. So I gifted him a copy of this book, and I invited him to our workshops that we do have coming up. So to segue into that, you guys that are on right now, you're all welcome and invited to come up on our workshops that we have every Mondays and Thursdays, right? And because a lot of the information that you're going to hear now, you've probably never heard it before. If I wasn't doing this business, I wouldn't have known none of this, right? So we want you guys to have an open heart, have an open mind, and let's, because nobody's doing what we're doing. Nobody's educating our community. I say this with utmost respect as a graduate and a professor. I don't even teach this at my university. And I never learned this at NYU, right? And there's a reason why it is the way it is, right? Because as long as the mass know, well, somebody's not going to make money off of us, right? So we want to make sure that we are sharing this information with everybody so you guys could all set up and win the money game. So tonight we're going to talk about saving your future because that's what it's all about, right? We got to put things in place and we want to save our future so we know in the future we're good. So we're going to talk about some basic financial concept. And let's talk about some challenges because they are challenges and we know those challenges, right? A lot of us, you know, we may not even be interested in personal finance. You know, we have debts, credit card, student loan, mortgage, car loans. And on top of it, you know, we're not making enough. So we're living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us, we don't have emergency funds. And if we do, it's not enough. And if we do, we have it in the wrong buckets, right? And you'll see what I mean by wrong buckets. Some of us, we have no goals. We're just winging it, right? And of course, we spend a lot. And when we think about budgeting, well, who likes budgeting? Nobody was, you know, we don't want to budget. Budget is not anything sexy or nice, right? So we don't want to think about budgeting and we're not budgeting. So as a result, we have bad money habits. And it's not you alone. It's not me. It's just the way how America has us, right? We have credit cards and we're just swiping stuff and dealing with the aftermath after. So bad habits, poor decisions, and even if we're making good decisions, it's not all the way because we don't have all the information to make the best decision. So what do the wealthy know that the rest of us don't? Guys, I asked myself that question many, many years ago. How is it that the wealthy get wealthy, stay wealthy, die wealthy, and their kids are also wealthy for generations to come? There is something that they know and are doing that the mass does not know. So we're going to find out what that is. Well, the good news, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that we are living longer, right? The stats are showing us that we're going to live longer. We're going to live longer. But can we afford? If you live until age 80, 90, 100, 105, are we prepared financially to weather the storm in your golden olden age, right? So these are some things we want to make sure. Actually, let me do this. These are some things we want to make sure that we put in place so we are able to enjoy the later years of life because we've put things in place in our younger days. So we're living longer, and that's good. But let's talk about what is that going to look like in the future. So some challenges in the aging world, we have lower birth rates, more single parents, right? Increased health concerns. Some of you that are on, you're nurses and you know this firsthand working in the hospital. Appropriate housing and supervision, transportation and mobility, wealth transfer, like all of these things are real. And most of us are not even thinking about it. So if we don't think about it, we're not going to plan for it. So think about it right now. Are you too busy during the first half of your life to even prepare for the second half? A lot of us right now, we might be in the first half, but guess what? The things that we're going to do in our first half, that's what's going to set us up for the second half. So what are we doing in the first half to make sure that we're going to be good in the second half? Well, here we're going to teach you. It starts with building a solid financial foundation. We got to set goals, guys. We have to set goals. If we don't set goals, the week, the month, the years are going to go by. Before you know it, you're 65 and you're like, oh my God, what's going on here, right? So we want to set goals and take action. So the information that you're going to hear today, do not make the mistake of saying, you know what, tomorrow, next week, next month. No, we want to take action because number one, we're already behind the ball because we're getting this information late. So let's look at your current financial situation. To build a solid financial house, your house should look like this. At the bottom, your foundation starts with proper protection. This is in the event if something were to happen to you today, tomorrow, next week, next month, you have in place 10 times your income. So if you're a spouse, husband and wife, let's say if something happened to the husband, do you have things in place for 10 times your income? Because now we're no longer there, but we still got to pay the mortgage, or vice versa with the wife, or vice versa with the mom or whoever, right? So the formula is you want to have 10 times your income in proper protection. But we also got debt. So guess what? The goal, depending on the type of debt, right? Because there's good debt and there's bad debt. So if it's a good debt, fine, we're going to keep it because it's making us money. But if it's a bad debt, a debt that's taking money out of your pocket, well, it should be zero. Minimize your debt because that will rob you. Third block is setting up your financial emergency fund. Because guess what? If your tire blows out today, or you got to jump on a plane and go to Guyana for a funeral, a wedding, something good, right? Do we have 6 months emergency fund? And then your investment. Your investment is the top. That is the last piece. And most people, they have their financial house upside down. They start with investment and they don't even know how to invest because we never really learned how to invest. They don't teach us in school. Some of us were getting it, but we're getting it by a fluke, right? There's no, we're just getting it, right? So your investment should be 20 times your income. So if you've never learned about this, I'm not surprised. I didn't know this either. So now you see there's question marks on the left side. This is where, you can start thinking, what is your current financial situation? Do you have 10 times protection? God forbid something happened to you. How is your debt? Do you have a lot of debt? Let's try to get debt free, right? Unless it's a good debt. How's your emergency fund? Do you have 6 months plus? Guys, I said this yesterday at the youth conference. I am so laser focused and love saving money that 6 months is too small for me. Like, I need to have peace of mind, right? So if you can save more than 6 months, it's not going to hurt you. Go for it. But minimum 6 months emergency fund. And then, of course, making sure that you do have investment. So without a strong financial foundation, your financial house won't stand. Life happens, something come up, you upside it down. And then we have this concept called the X curve. What is the X curve? Well, it tells us that in the beginning phase, right, when we're young, we have debt because we're going to incur it. There's no way around it. If you go to school, you're going to get debt. You get a credit card, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house. The debt is inevitable, right? So in your early years phase of your life, you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself and your assets. So to cover the debt, to cover 10 times your income, if you have a mortgage, or maybe you don't have a mortgage, but you have rent. Well, if you and I are no longer here, the kids still got to live somewhere. Our spouse or parents still got to live somewhere. So the rent still got to get paid, right? And if you have little kids or you have kids, well, we put in things in place for them to have a proper education and to fund that education so they don't wind up with student loan the size of a mortgage, okay? So now in your later years in life, right, this is where the wealth concept comes in, because here we want to make sure that the kids are all grown, mortgage is paid off. It's like you're living YOLO, right? So this is where we want to make sure our money is there, because this is what's going to weather us in the later years, because the kids are gone. They're out the house. They might be out the city. They might be out the state. They might be out the country. You're by yourself now, right? But if you got the money, the kids and the grandkids will come around a lot often. So there's something called the wealth formula. And the wealth formula is you take, everything is going to start with money. So when people say to me, Odetta, oh, you always talk about money, 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 money. Life happens. Everything goes around your money. Money is going to dictate what you eat, right? And this is why Dr. Stevenson and I, we're going to really be locking arm, because if you don't have money, you can't buy healthy food. That's going to dictate the kind of nutrition, the food you're eating, right? But we got to give that money time to grow. This is why all of you right now on this Zoom, if you have kids and grandkids, when you're about to learn what you're going to learn tonight, you're going to want to make sure you protect your kids fast, because that's the easiest way to build wealth and to set your kids up. Yesterday at the conference, one of the lady in the audience, not on the panel, in the audience was telling us what are some of the things she noticed Jewish people do for their kids the minute they're born. And I was like, girl, this is what I teach my community. This is what I'm teaching my community, right? Okay, guys, can you please mute your line? And then you got to give that money time to grow, but then you also want to look out for the interest. What's the interest you're getting on your money? So a lot of people tell me, well, Dad, I'm doing good. I'm saving money. And I'm like, that's great, but we still got to talk, right? We still got to talk. You might be saving money, but what's the interest you're getting? What is the interest? Are you getting 1%, 2%, 3%, or a whopping 0.0 something? right? If you're with Chase, if you're with Citibank, if you're with Wachovia, if you're with Bank of America, if you're with any one of those brick and mortar, you're probably not getting a lot of interest, right? But then we got to watch out for inflation, because that's the silent killer to building your wealth. It's going to rob you. Inflation and tax will rob you. So even though some people might be saying, oh, Dad, I got a lot of money, I'm doing good. Well, let's talk about taxes and let's talk about inflation. Ask yourself, guys, the longer you and I live, are things going to get cheaper or is it going to get more expensive? You could put it in the chat. Cheaper or expensive, right? We know the answer. Nothing is going down. It's not going down. It's going up, right? So it's going to cost you and I more money to purchase stuff in the future. And you're going to see this. And then, of course, taxes. Well, let me ask you another question. Do you think tax is going to go up or down in the future? It's going to go up. So we got to watch out for those two things, right? So the formula 1020 says you may need 10 times your income to protect your family, or you may need 20 times your income to take care of your future retirement. Guys, there's people retiring right now, and I know for a fact they're going to run out of money. I do this for a living. The numbers are not matching. People are going to run out of money, and God forbid if they get ill, that's going to make them run out of money even sooner, right? Which is not good. This is why we do these workshops. So let's talk about debt, because a lot of us have debt, and debt could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, right? We want to have that good debt, right? Not the bad debt, not the debt that's going to rob us. We want the good debt, the good kind of debt. So did you know that just putting an extra $100 a month can dramatically save time and reduce your debt? Dramatically. Just put in an extra $100, right? Some of you, I've had conversation with you, and I think one lady actually told me, a client told me that I was doing like an extra payment on my mortgage. Another person told me, Odetta, you know what? I was, instead of sending my mortgage once a month, I was splitting it up and doing like every 2 weeks. And she was able to get out of her mortgage a couple of years sooner, right? So let's talk about one of the rules when it comes to money. I'm sure we've all heard compound interest. Yeah, we heard about that. But how does that relate to your money, right? The formula says Albert Einstein created this rule. And he said you take the number 72 and you're going to divide that by the rate of return, which is the interest. The answer is the number of years it will take to double your money. So if you're getting 6%, 72 divided by 6 is 12. You have 10,000. That 10,000 is going to take 12 years before it doubles. Guys, and in 12 years, we know everything is going to go up in 12 years, right? Now, that's 6%. The next one shows 8%. 72 divided by 8 is now 9 years. 10,000 again is going to take 9 years to double. And what if you're getting a whopping 10%? Well, now 72 divided by 10, your money's going to take 7.2 years. So what this tells us is the higher the interest, the lesser time or the quicker it's going to take for your money to double. So it's not just about saving money, people. It's more than saving. It starts with saving, but what is the interest you and I are getting on our money? Example, if you save $100 and you're getting an interest of 5%, well, your $100 earns $5. But now you got to pay tax on that money. And assume tax is 25%, Well, after tax, you're at 103.75. But guess what? We got to watch out for inflation. That's the cost of goods, right? It doesn't get cheaper, it goes up. So if inflation is 3%, when you add that $3, what are you netting? $100.75. 75 cents. So what this tells us is we have to have a high interest to offset inflation. You see, nobody's thinking about inflation. That's the silent killer to our money. That and taxes. So, first rule is understanding compound. The second rule is how is your money growing? So now you said, okay, well, that I got the interest. I'm getting a good high interest. I'm getting 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's the first puzzle. Okay, guys, can you mute your line? Okay, so there's 3 buckets you can put your money. You could put your money in a fixed bucket, which is going to give you a set rate, set interest, right? It could be 1%, 2%, whatever. Now you know the rule is 72 divided by 72. I want you to do the same thing for your credit card. I want you to do the same thing for your mortgage, your car loan, your student loan, all loans divided by 72 and whatever the interest is. And the goal is to pay it off before it doubles. All right. So with fixed, you put your money in a fixed bucket. Your money is safe, but the growth is minimal, not a lot, AKA the bank, right? You said, Odetta, I'm getting more than the bank. I'm putting my money in my job 401k, or I'm putting my money in the stock market, or I'm putting my money in a brokerage account. And that's great. But, guess what?
People, and then you can switch to another company with
Okay,
PSN.
I'm gonna have to mute all right
So
now.
much fun you get on your house.
Okay, so here you have variable account where your money can grow for sure, but you could also lose, right? You could also lose. There's no guarantee. You could lose and you will lose, okay? This is why some people who are even in retirement, they're still losing money because that money's in the stock market, which is variable, up and down, right? It's like the EKG, right? Your high blood pressure going up and down. So guys, we don't want no up and down situation. Or if we do, we want to minimize it. We want to minimize it, no up and down. If we do, we want to minimize it, right? But that's how variable accounts work. You could grow, you can make a lot of money, but it's not safe. You could be broke next week, you could be broke next month, you could be broke next year, you could be broke in the future. Guys, this opportunity with these strategies that we're going to show you, there is no worrying what's happening to your money in the future, because there's a third bucket that the wealthy know. There's a third bucket that the people who are financially educated are using, and it's not the mass. And this account is an index account. And with an index account, now you have the best of both worlds. You have safety, just like the bank, and you have growth, just like the stock market. The best of both worlds. But why nobody knows about it? Well, the reason why nobody knows about it is because they're not making it mainstream for you and I to know about it. Because if you and I know about it, we're not going to put our money in a fixed bucket and in a variable. And if we do, we're not going to put as much because now we understand how money works. So you could put it in a fixed bucket. It's safe all day, every day, but the growth is minimal. You could put it in a variable bucket where it can grow a lot, but there's no safety. Or you could put it in an index account where it's safe and it's growing. So now you ask yourself, how would you like your money to grow? which one of these three buckets you have for yourself. Now, history shows us that there's been several stock market crash. In the year 2000, we had the dot-com crash. We had COVID. We had 2008. We don't know what's going to come in the future. But guess what? When you have your money in certain buckets, you ain't got to worry what's going to come in the future, because you ain't losing ever, 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 not a penny when the stock market crash. So if you have your money in traditional accounts like the stock market, 401k, 403b, etc., here's what they're not telling you and I. There's a concept in financial term called average versus actual. So let's say year one, you earn 10%, negative 10. So now your $100 is $90. Year two, the market went back up 10%. That's 10% of $90. So now you're at 99. You started with 100, but you didn't get back 100. So most people say, oh, that ain't know the market went down. It's okay. I lose money. I'm going to make it back. Really? 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 They don't know actual. Because if you have $100 in the stock market and the market went down 10%, now you got 90. But let's say the next year the market went back 10%. No. It's 10% of $90. So you still below. And even if it went back to $100, you're still not ahead. You make up what you lost. You're even. You're not ahead of the game. Right? And now let's look at this now with a 20%. $100 minus 20%, the market dropped 20%. Now you got $80. The market went back up 20%. It's 20% of $80. So now you got 96. You're still not ahead. You're not even breaking even. This is something that they would never tell you and I. Now, what about 50%? Let's say same $100. Market dropped 50%. You got $50. The market went back up 50%. So you're like, oh, that I'm doing good. The market went up. I'm good. No, you're not. The market went up don't mean you're good, right? Because we lost 50%. Our $100 was 50. Now we got 50. The market went up 50%. It's 50% of $50. So now you got 75. You're still down. You're still down. You didn't even make back what you lost. You're not even breaking even. So this is such an important concept to understand. And I get it. Most people are not thinking about this. They're not going to look for this. No, they're not, right? So for us, what this tells you and I is, number one, you don't ever want to lose money. You don't ever want to lose money, because even when you lose and you make it back, you're still not ahead. It might grow back and now you're breaking even. But in all three of these examples, we didn't even make back the $100, even though the market went back up. When you put the percentage with real numbers or with numbers, dollars, that's when you really see it. So we talked about inflation earlier. Everything is going up. In the 70s, a new home, the price of a new home in the 70s was $23,400, right? Loaf of bread was 25 cents. Oh my God, those were the good days, right? In the 90s, the home was 123,000 average nationwide. Today, well, I'm in New York, right? And we already know you don't really find nothing for no 535 unless you buy it at the auction or something, right? So today, that same new home is about more than $500,000. Gas went up from 36 cents to 3.43. Again, this further tells us that as we continue to live, things are going to get more expensive. So we got to make sure that we have enough money to pay for these things that's going to increase. So let's look about what would $100 do in the next 20 years. Your $100 purchasing power is going to decrease. It's going to decrease. When I first came to this country, my mom would go to Patmark with $100 and she would come home with a wagon full of grocery. My friends would always come to my house and they would leave with a shopping bag because we always had so much groceries. Today, you go to the supermarket with that same $100, you might get 1 and 2 plastic bags of grocery. So in 5 years, with inflation and purchasing power, that $100 is going to give you about it's going to be worth about $86. In 10 years, 74. In 15 years, 64. It's buying you less. Why? Because things are more expensive. In 20 years, your $100 is going to be worth $55 purchasing power. Because things are going up. So it's important for us to make more money because we're going to need to spend more money. And now let's talk about the third rule, which deals with taxes. Because believe it or not, where you're putting your money is going to have an effect on how much you get to keep. So tax no account, these are your checking, your savings, your CD, your stocks, your mutual funds, right? On average, today, it's about 15 to 25% of that is going to be tax. So when you and I put money in your checking account or in a stock, a brokerage account, a mutual fund, and let's say the market did well and that stock went up, or money in the bank, well, money in the bank didn't really go up much, right? But let's say you had an account that's giving you 4%, right? So your $100 now is more. At the end of the year, make no mistake, all of those institutions will send you a 1099 to pay capital gain tax because you gain interest. And Uncle Sam wants to tax that interest, right? Tax later account. This is where they got us good. All of us, they duped us. Because when you and I get a job and they tell us, oh, we got great benefits, come sign up for this 401k and save for your future. I drank all the Kool-Aid. Because when I was in corporate America, anything to do with saving, I'm signing up. I'm signing up. Save money for my future. I'm signing up. I was maxing out my 401k. But I didn't know. But now I know. And this is why I'm teaching this, right? So these accounts, 401k, 403b, IRA, SEP IRA, annuity, pension, TSP, all of them are taxed later. Uncle Sam says, you know what? Don't pay tax now. Don't pay tax on your little money, your $300, your $500, your $1,000. No, Uncle Sam doesn't want to charge you and I tax on the seed, the little money. He wants to tax you on the big money, right? When this money grows to $1 million, that's what he wants to tax you on, this $1 million. And plus, you don't even know how much tax is going to be in the future. It's going to increase, but how much you're going to pay in the future, we don't know. So why would anybody ever borrow money if they don't know how much interest they're going to pay on that money? But this is what we're doing with these tax later accounts. We're putting our money in accounts that we're going to need it the most in our later years. How much we get to keep We don't know, because nobody knows what tax is going to be in the future, but we know it's going to go up. So why would you keep putting a lot of your money in a 401k, in a 403b, when you don't even know how much you're going to pay in taxes? You don't even know what the stock market's going to do. You don't even know how much you're going to lose. You don't even know how much you're going to get to keep. So here's the rule of thumb in finance. Unless your job is matching that 401k, if they're matching, the match is free money. You put $5, I put $5, right? If the company is matching, great. Put enough to get the match and not a penny more. Put enough to get the match and not a penny more. If they're matching. If they're not matching, you don't want to put money there. Or if you do, very little, and we're going to show you where. But HR is not going to have this conversation with you because HR don't even know this information herself. And besides, it's not her place to tell you this anyways, because she's not a financial advisor. Her job is just to, hey, this is part of your benefit. Sign up if you want to. That's it, right? It is what it is. With tax later, you're going to be paying about 25 to 50% in taxes. And that's as of today. Today numbers. I don't know what's going to happen 10, 15, 20 years down the road. But as of today, you're going to be paying about 25 to 50% on taxes. Now, tax advantage is tax-free. Understand the tax-free business. Understand the tax-free business. This is why wealthy people, they were the one to first discover about these accounts. Because we see when you make a lot of money, you don't want to pay a lot of taxes. And there are legal accounts that you could put your money in and access all of it tax-free. Why don't we know about this? Why aren't they making this mainstream? Because guess what? If they would do that, the government ain't gonna tax all of us. So it's not about saving money, it's about saving money smart. So your tax advantage accounts, which are tax-free, you pay zero in tax, because yes, when you get paid at your job today, Friday, you're gonna pay tax on that money from your paycheck. And then the left, well, after you pay the Spain tax, the difference, you put in some of these accounts. And here it's tax-free. Now, we don't have time to go through all of these accounts, but I will tell you that all you really need is 2 accounts, right? Roth IRA is one of those accounts, because with a Roth IRA, all of your gains are tax-free. But guess what? Because it's tax-free, the government, again, limits you on how much you could put in there. He says if you're under 50, the max you can put is 7,000. And if you're over 50, they give you an extra 1,000, 8,000. See? You see how they're tricky? Because they know this is a good account, they're limiting you on how much you could put in this route. 7,000 or 8,000, depending on your age. This is why, again, the wealthy people learn about these strategies before you and I, because they got a lot of money and they don't want to pay extra taxes unnecessarily, right? 529, I have a big pet peeve. I could go on and on. I do a workshop just on 529 and setting kids up to be playground millionaire. But I will tell you right now, if you have a 529 right now for your child, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop funding it, because I'm telling you, it's going to hurt you. Stop funding it immediately. Do not keep putting more money into it. We will show you where. At 529, I'm going to talk about 2 things with a 529. It is going to disqualify you from getting free money. And every school has free money. Every school. Especially the Ivy Leagues, especially the good schools, right? They got free money. They have big donors. But when you come with your 529, you know what we're going to tell you? You don't need no help. You got money. Use your money. Why should we give you money if you already got money? So 529 will hurt you. You're leaving money on the table. And even if you said, you know what, that I can afford it, you know, I'm still going to do it. Why would you still want to do it when you could lose money in the stock market? You don't know what the stock market is going to do when your child is 18 and ready to go off to college. What if the stock market crash? What if your child was scheduled to go to college in the year 2000, 2008, 2020? You would have lost some money. So if you thought you had 100,000 to go to college, now you're down 50%. You don't know what the stock market is going to do when your kids are ready to go off to college. And even if, let's say, the market does well, they go off to college, and maybe they don't spend all the money in the 529. Now we got another problem, because we're going to have to pay tax on that money, because if we need to keep using it, and it's not for college because we graduate, we're going to have to pay tax now. So guys, I'm not going to spend much time on 529, but all I will say, if you have a 529, you need to stop it and schedule a consultation with us so we could show you better alternative, right? None of my nieces and nephews have 529. The minute I discovered this stuff, I said, you know what? I call all my cousins that have kids, and they all were happy to tell me, oh, Dada, I'm good. We got a 529. Aiden's going to go to college. Kiana's going to go to college. Nikki's, no, we're not doing that. I got some new information now. We're not doing this, right? So you have executive bonus, long-term care, and cash value life insurance. So you got to know where you're putting your money. Now that you know tax now, you're going to pay about 15 to 25%. Tax later today, you're going to pay anywhere between 25 to 50% in taxes. And tax advantage, well, it's tax advantage, right? It's zero. Zero is your hero. That's where you want to be. Zero taxes means you're keeping more money in your pocket. Guys, understand. Tax-free money means more money. Because if you got $1 million and it's tax-free, it's $1 million. But if you have $1 million and it's in a tax later account or a tax now account, you ain't got $1 million. You got to pay tax 25 to 50%. So it's not just about saving money. And all of us got money in, most of our money, I should say, we have in tax now and tax later, because we were never educated on the third bucket, the tax advantage bucket. So we want to save our future. Everybody, 10%. I get asked every day, oh, Dada, how much should I put? How much should I save? How much should I save? You should be saving, rule of thumb, 10%. That's the rule of thumb. That's a financial concept. The same way how we're going to tithe 10% to the church, we're going to save 10% by paying ourselves first. Assume you make $60,000 a year and you set aside 10% per month in an account that grows at some interest rate. What would $500 a month, which is 10% of that $60,000 or $17 a day, compound over time? Well, that $500, okay? That $500. This is why when people tell me, oh, that money is not a big deal, money is a lot, okay? Money is a super big deal where you ain't got nothing, okay? It's the love of money is not good. So if you save that $500 in a bucket for the next 30 years, this is why I get mad when I learn about this, and my parents didn't know about this, and they've been in this country for over 40 something years. They woulda, shoulda, coulda had $1 million in a tax-free account. But because nobody educated them, they didn't know better. So $500 you put aside in the next 30 years, earning about 8%, you're looking at almost $800,000 tax-free. Not $800,000 in a 401k, where you're going to pay about 25 to 50% in taxes. And Lord have mercy, do not let the stock market crash, because that's just going to eat it away more. This almost $800,000 tax-free in a bucket that's tax-free and risk-free, you're ahead of the game. And what if you were getting 10%? Holy moly, over $1 million tax-free. Guys, once I learned this stuff, I'm like, listen, tax-free is the way to go, honey. Tax-free and risk-free is the way to go. That's how you control your future. That's how you know you're good. Okay? A lot of people tell me, oh, that I'm good. No, no, no. If you ain't got this stuff, you ain't good. You might be good, but you ain't good. You might be good, but you ain't good. Okay? You woulda, coulda, shoulda be better. Okay? Because you don't want when you're 65, you get hit with those two things: inflation, taxes, market risk. Three things: inflation, taxes, market risk. Now we know we got to watch out for these things because it's going to happen. If you got your money in the 401k, good luck. You're going to pay a lot of taxes in the future. You're going to have to deal with the stock market going down because it will go down between now and then. And on top of it, inflation. Can't avoid it. But if you know what I know, you put your money in the right bucket. So you're beating inflation because you're getting a high interest. You ain't got to worry about paying taxes, and you ain't got to worry about stock market risk. Here's the strategy to manage your growth. Here's the strategy to build wealth. Here's the strategy to control your future. Here's the strategy that they're not teaching us. Here's the strategy that we woulda, shoulda, coulda been doing, but because we did not know, we could have made the best decision. Number one, your money has to grow. So money in the bank is not gonna grow, because the bank is giving you a whopping 0.0 something, and now you know the rule is 72. There's no more I don't know, because now you're on this Zoom tonight. Now we know. And the reason why the banks will never tell you, somebody put it in the chat. Why would the bank never tell you this information that I'm telling you? Put it in the chat. Let's see what you guys saying. Why would the bank not tell you about these strategies? Anybody want to guess? Exactly. The bank ain't gonna make no money off of us. So it's not in their best interest. Guys, I get asked every day, Odetta, how come I never heard about this? Odetta, how come I never heard about this? You ain't ever gonna hear about it either. Because as long as we don't know, they're gonna make money off of us. And secondly, we don't read. We don't read as a people, right? If you wanna hide something from us, put it in a book. We're not reading. Your money has to grow. These four cornerstones. Everybody, your money has to have these four things. You want to grow your money. The bank ain't going to grow your money. They're giving you less than 1%, but then when you go to them for a credit card or a car loan or a mortgage, they're going to charge you 6 and 7 and 8%. They're making money off of you. So why would they educate you? The rate of return has to be high enough to beat taxes and inflation. So what is inflation right now? Somebody Google it. What is national average inflation? If your money right now is not giving you higher than the average inflation, you're straight up dropping your coins. Just like my book said, if you ain't stacking, you're dropping. You are dropping your coins. You got to have high interest rate to outbeat inflation and taxes. But your growth has to be managing your risk. So money in your 401k, you ain't managing no risk over there. I have some clients tell me, oh my God, that I don't even want to look at my statement. Why don't you want to look at it? I love logging into my IUL. I love. I could go in there and look at it all day, every day. It's only going in one direction, up. There's never a time I'm going to log into any one of my IUL account, which by the way, I have 3. I will never ever log in and see it in less unless I take money out. I don't have to watch the news and worry what the stock market is doing. I don't have to watch the news and see who Donald Trump is pissing off in another country and now they're mad with us and hiking up the tariff. Who cares, right? I'm managing my risk, and you can do the same. Manage your risk, preserve your principal. That ain't gonna happen with your 401k, honey. You might log in today and you got $500,000. You log in next month, you're down to 400,000. I don't know. That's why the people don't like logging in and watching their statement. But for me, I'm all day, every day looking at my accounts because I'm happy every time I look at it. It's never no surprises, right? You got to manage your risk. You want to make money, you want to grow the money, but you want to protect the money. And this money, tax deferred and tax advantage vehicles, can play a significant role in building your wealth. You got to watch out for taxes because, guys, I'm so glad I'm in this business, because if I was not in this business, I would be doing the same thing what everybody else is doing because I don't know. I don't know. But you see, when you know this information, you feel empowered, and now you feel good that your future is certain. Your future is safe. Your future is secure. Now, when I'm 65 or 70, there is no surprises, right? Tax-free money means more money. Because again, if you got $1 million in an IRS code 7702 cash value account, it's $1 million. But $1 million in your 401k, come on, it's $1 million on paper. That is not what you're going to get, honey. And lo and behold, do not let the stock market drop. But you also want protection. Well, Ludetta, what do you mean by protection? Well, first of all, we got to protect you, honey. We got to protect you. Let's start with you, because you're the one getting dressed. You're the one going to work every day. You're the one that could get sick. You're the one that could die prematurely. Let's start with protecting you. You, when you go to bed every night, what if you never wake up tomorrow? Let's start with protecting you. Then we protect our income. Then we protect our assets. Because if we're not here, the bill still got to get paid. The show must go on. If not, we're going to lose the house. We're going to be homeless. And we're going to be living at somebody getting abused. So we got to protect you first, your income and your assets. Right? We got to prepare for the long-term care. We got to prepare for for things that are going to happen in the future. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we're going to be wise and we're going to put things in place just in case. And a lot of you, well, I think I have about 4 or 5 nurses on right now. You guys see this every day. Guys, when you get sick in America, which is the #1 reason people go bankrupt, cancer, heart attack, and stroke is rampant. Now, the good news is some people are not dying. The good news is, death is not really happening for a lot of us that get diagnosed with those things. But what kind of care are you getting? What's the level of care you're going to get? Peace of mind. Put things in place, guys. Put things in place for peace of mind. And also to manage your risk for the future. Because the older you and I get, we're human beings. Things are going to start falling apart. Things are going to start breaking down, right? We don't know what illnesses are going to come up in the future. So you got to put things in place. What if you get disabled? My brother's in a nursing home. He's disabled. He's only 38. Where did that come from? Got to put things in place, right? Or what if you have a chronic illness? Yes, you don't die, but you have a chronic illness. Where's the money going to come from? Guys, in America, if you have money, you ain't getting no money. If you have money, you ain't getting no money. They call it a spend down process. If you have more than $2,000, you got a house in your name, you got all this stuff in your name, good luck. You ain't getting nothing. Nothing you ain't getting. But how come other communities are getting everything, even though they have a lot of things? Well, they know what I'm teaching you today. So you see, before I came on board, my finances, even though I'm a saver, it was looking like this. A mess. Everything upside down, because I don't know about inflation. I don't know about taxes. I don't know about stock market. Everything was all over the place. But I'm saving. I'm saving. But I had no idea what's going to happen to my retirement. I didn't even thinking about longevity. What if I live long? What if I get sick? I don't even understand taxes. I don't even have no estate planning. Like, I'm redoing my trust right now. And I don't have a husband or kids, but I'm redoing my trust. Why? The more assets you accumulate, you got it. Some people do these things and they never look at it anymore. No, life is changing, right? I'm helping a colleague right now redoing her stuff too, because she just got a grandbaby. At the church, at the school yesterday, right? Dr. Braxton was saying yesterday he just got his 7th grandbaby born yesterday. Guess what? That newborn is going to be in the trust too. That newborn name and social security is going to get added to the trust, because guess what? They're setting up that newborn that was just born yesterday. That's what he said yesterday at the youth conference. His 7th grandkid was born yesterday, and they already know they got to revisit their attorney and put little Johnny names in there as well. Okay, we setting little Johnny up, right? We got to put things in place. But these are the way how wealthy people think. They don't think about just their generation. They think about future generations when they're no longer here. Now, you might be saying, well, that I ain't got no money to be doing all that stuff. That's okay. You ain't got no money right now. But you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And for those of you who got money right now, well, that's good, but there's still some tweaking that we need to do. Because here's what we're also seeing. Here's what we're also seeing happening to our community. We pass away, we leave everything to our kids, and in 2 years, they'll wipe it out. 2 years, they'll wipe it all out. They spend out of control. Because number one, they don't have financial education. They don't have financial education. They don't understand saving. They don't understand investing. They don't understand none of this stuff, which I don't blame them, because we don't even know it ourselves. We're just learning this stuff. And if we're not teaching it to them, guys, my mom tells me all the time, Odetta, you're going to have to leave Corey $5 a day. No, $5 a week. We putting them on a budget, okay? They're going to be on a budget. If not, they will blow this money out in 2 years. In 2 years, they're going to blow it out. We're not setting them up for success if we give them all this money when we die. If we leave the house to them when we die, we're not setting them up for success. In fact, we're doing an injustice to them. You're doing an injustice to your kids. If you just hand them over the house, hand them over this, they're not prepared. I have a client right now. Her mom passed away and left her so much. She's like, Odetta, I'm overwhelmed. I said, it's a blessing, but it's overwhelming. Now you just inherit all of this stuff and you don't even know how to, like, it's too much. She's the only child, just inherited all of this stuff. It's overwhelming. So I say this to say, we got to start doing things. Okay. We got to start doing things different, right? Wealthy people, they do things different. So now that we know what we know, when you come on this platform, when you become a member of this platform, you can start putting things in place. And it's not going to happen overnight either. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a process. But when you come on board and you become a member, $125 gives you access to lifetime help with your finance. lifetime help with your finance. Our platform is multifaceted and diversified. Today, I had a client who reached out to me about getting some help with scholarships. I'm not the expert in scholarships, but guess what? I reached out to my people. I reached out to another business partner in the business, and guess what? She is a teacher, and that's what she does. That was her side hustle. Being in the classroom and preparing parents to help their kids to go off to the next phase of their education. She ended up started doing that on the side, and she does that on the side. So her and I, we're going to have a talk, and guess what? We're going to do a webinar to educate families how to find the free money that's out there, because it is out there. The university that I teach at, every semester I poll my students and I ask them, why did you choose this university? Why? You know what the answer is? 90% of them are telling me because this school gives them the most money. They're not even picking the school because of, I don't know, their curriculum, or picking the school because that's what they want to become in life for this specialty. No, they're picking the school based on who's giving the most money. This is what it came to now. All right. So we're going to be doing a seminar about showing families how to find this money, because it is out there, right? So when you become a member of our platform with $125, you have lifetime access to help you along the way with your financial house, putting your house in order with that foundation. You also get a free financial checkup. Let's start with your goals. What are your goals? I did this 8 years ago. Like, who's asking you what are your goals? Let's look at your debt. If you have debt, let's put a plan in place to get you out of debt free, to get you out of your debt so you can be free. If you have savings, that's great. Now let's make sure you're saving the money in the right bucket, because you know what to look out for now. You know that tax is going to go up. You know that you're going to pay more in taxes. You know that you're going to lose money. Now you know you should be saving 10%. Now you know you're going to pay more. And you're not in control of your future. Now you understand, wait, my 401k is not being matched. And now she said, okay, if it is matched, only put enough to get the match, and then the difference, put in tax-free accounts. IRS code 7702, your money is tax-free, your money is risk-free, you're protecting yourself, and your future is secure. You have kids, you're saving for your kids in a 529, now you know. Oh no, she said I should not be saving in the 529, and I know because I'm in the classroom. And in America, if you got money, you ain't getting no money. She talked about healthcare. Yes, we all want to live to age 100, but are we prepared financially? What if you get sick? What if there's a chronic or a critical illness? Where's the money to pay for that? And again, you got a house. So guess what? You ain't going to get nothing. Good luck, right? And then we talk about wealth transfer. These are all things we can help you with. We have attorneys, right? Throughout the entire country. Right now, I'm helping a wealthy family in Florida. And it's like their stuff it's been taking like 4 months because they got so much stuff. And these people are they understand the money game, that they're protecting everything, not for them because they're in their 90s. They're in their 90s, but they want to make sure that when they're gone, they're still controlling the money and making sure that none of these kids and grandkids and people who aren't even born, there's going to be something for them too. I love wealth transfer, right? But it starts with education. Because guess what? If you don't have this information, you can't even ask the right question. You can't talk to your HR about 401k if you don't even understand the pros and cons. Yes, it's good to save, but then there's levels to savings. Being Guyanese, Caribbean, I get a lot of people tell me, oh, that I'm doing a susu. Well, the good thing with a susu is you're saving money. But what's the interest you're getting on a susu? Are we getting any interest on the Susu? And what are we doing with the Susu money, right? So here we're gonna set some goals. What's your 1-year goal, your 5-year goal, and so forth. Because if not, life is gonna go by, and before you know it, you're 65 and you're like, oh my God, I wish. No, we don't want to be wishing no more. You being on this webinar today, the wishing stop and reacting. Because if you don't make a plan, the government will make a plan. If you don't put things in place, the government will put things in place. It's already in place by default. Also, when you pay that $125 and you become a member, we just launched our workshop series. And I love the workshop book, right? So our workshop, you're not going to learn this at school. I'm fighting fists with my university to roll out personal finance, to make it mandate. They're not listening to me. Finance is not on their radar. I'm like, but these kids have student loan. Like, these kids are signing up for credit card. Like, these kids are spending so much money. They're not listening to me. It's higher than me. Why aren't we making personal finance mandatory? Well, as long as we don't know, we don't make money, right? That's the mindset. So, introduction to our financial campaign. We have 7 life-changing, powerful workshops. You're going to understand about saving and building wealth, because it's one thing to build wealth, but if you build wealth in a bucket where you're going to pay a whole bunch of taxes, where you're going to lose money when the stock market, now you understand actual versus average. You don't want to lose money. You don't want to lose money. And if you do, minimal. We've all heard about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett rule when it comes to investment, he has 2 rules. Number 1, can anybody tell me what are those rules? Put it in the chat. What do you think those rules are? When it comes to money, what are Warren Buffett rules? If anybody knows, put it in the chat. Rule number 1 is what? What did Warren Buffett say? Rule number 1, never lose money. Guys, this guy is super wealthy, and that's his rule. Put your money in accounts where you will never lose money. He could afford to lose a couple of billions and millions, but that's his philosophy when it comes to investing. Never lose money. And rule number 2, remember rule number 1, never lose money. Yes, Donna, thank you. Rule number 2, yeah, exactly. Never lose money. We ain't got Warren Buffett kind of money. We ain't got Bill Gates kind of money. So why are we putting our money in accounts where we're losing? You know why? Because we don't know. It's simple. We don't know. But now you do know. Now you do know where the wealthies put in their money. Now you do know about index account. Now you do know average versus actual. Now you do know the rule of 72. It's time to take action, right? In workshop 2, you're going to learn how to increase your cash flow, because now you do know inflation is going to go up. Things are going to get more expensive. So we got to make more money, right? Because it's going to cost us more in the future. And because we understand compound interest, now we know how to manage our debt and to get out of this debt as soon as possible before it double. Look at your credit card. Call up your credit card. Call up your mortgage. What is the interest? Divided by 72 and pay it off before it double. Right? Now we know how to build a proper foundation for your house. You know your house should have 4 things. It should have growth, safety, tax-free, and protection. Now we do know, right? Now we know that statistics says we're going to live longer. So let's put things in place for the later years Not even a later years, because somebody could get sick next week, next month, next year. And then what happens? Now we got to do a GoFundMe, which is corporate begging. God forbid. Why would we want to do a GoFundMe to beg for something that we could have put things in place? But now we do know, right? We do know now. We know we're going to get sick. We know we're going to die. We know we're going to grow old for some of us. So let's put things in place, right? So financial security is not a dream. It's a priority. We have to prioritize this. If not, life is going to happen. So one more note, will your current situation allow you to reach your goals? Right now, I don't know you, whatever you set up for yourself, whatever you have in place, now that you do know, do you think what you currently have is going to allow you to reach your goal? Think about it. First of all, if you don't have those 4 cornerstones, it's not going to reach your goal. Because those 4 cornerstones says your money has to grow. So yeah, maybe your money is growing in your 401k, your IRA, your mutual funds, your brokerage account. Yes, it is growing. Okay, so that's good. 2, is it safe? Is it safe? Can you put your head on a block that you will never ever lose money? No, you cannot. Not with the stock market. That's not how it works. 3, is that money tax-free? No, it's not. You're going to have to pay tax on a lot of it in the future, which is going to rob you, because when you woulda, shoulda, coulda had $1 million, you're going to end up with either half or 3/4, because you got to pay taxes and hope and pray the stock market don't drop. And folks, are you protected? Are you protected? You're the one getting up every day and going to work. You're the one getting in that car. You're the one getting on the train. You're the one taking that trip. Are you protected? What if you get sick? What do you have in place that's going to pay you a couple $100,000s? I'm not talking no 5,000, no 10,000. What do you have in place right now that, God forbid, if you get sick, you could get a $100,000 check. You could get a $200,000 check. You could get a $350,000 check. Guys, why do you think I have 3 IUL? Why do you think I have over 3.5 million? That is peace of mind. Okay? What do you have in place that will give you $1 million tax-free? What do you have in place that will give you $500,000 tax-free? Just in case. And guess what? If you never get sick, it's your money either way to spend on yourself. If you never get sick, it's more money for you to spend either way. Is your 401k going to give you $500,000 if you get sick? First of all, what people don't understand is if you get sick, depending on how severe, if it's one of those big 3, cancer, heart attack, stroke, are most people able to go to work if you have those things? No, you cannot. So if you're not going to work, you lose your job. When you lose your job, you lose your benefits. When you lose your job, you lose your benefits. So your glorified health insurance and all these benefits are quickly going to disappear. So I ask the question again. When it comes to protection, what do you have in place that will pay you $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000? And I'm saying it $100,000 because cancer, heart attack, and stroke is going to take a couple of $100,000. It's going to take a couple of $100,000 to fight the disease, to fight whatever. You got to put things in place, guys. You got to put things in place. If not, we fall victim. Not anymore, because you're on this webinar and you heard enough, right? So consider making an extra income on a part-time basis. We're always looking for people, because I don't know everybody. Right? I don't know people in other states. But if there's somebody on this Zoom today that maybe live in Chicago, lives in Dallas, lives in Georgia, lives in Florida, guess what? We could help people over there too. So for that same 125, you have access to our workshop, you have access to learn, you have access to put your own financial house in order. And for the right person, because we don't want everybody, for the right person who has a servant attitude, who wants to help people. And the more people you help, the more God will bless you. Because it would be a sin for me to have known this information and just keep it to myself. It would have been a sin for me to just, oh, you know what? This person, Angel, saw me at my university. He pulled me aside, helped me with this. I'm good. I got my IUL. I ain't care about nobody else. I'm good. No, it would be a sin. It would be an abomination for me to keep this information to myself. This information is like the cancer. This is financial cancer. People who have not good with their finance, and I know that I could help them. I have information that could set them free, and I'm going to keep this to myself? No way. No way, right? When God bless you, it's for you to bless other people. So for the right person, right, you're going to let us know if you're interested in being a client and attending our workshop to learn and get help with your finance, or for the right people who also want to explore getting your license in financial services and educating your community. Because again, I don't know everybody, right? You could get licensed like Gavin did. This is why we're doing his grand opening, right? Like he said in the beginning, he was very skeptical, as he should. I was skeptical too, because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a professor. How come I never heard about this? There's so much more people never heard about this. My dad never heard about this. My mom never heard about this. But now that I'm doing this, now it clicked, especially with my mom. It clicked. She's like, Odetta, this thing you teaching people, I sure this is what these white people had. Because my mom did domestic work all her life in America. And these people never cried to pay her. They never cried to pay her. The money was just coming. Because the money coming out of their pocket. The money coming out of the accounts that they set up for themselves for their later years. You see how white people is thinking? For their later years. They put things in place earlier for their later years. So now when they got to go to the nursing home, now when they want to stay in their nice house and have a home health aide come take care of them because the kid's grown and gone, their money is right there. And my mom did an awesome job. And all the people who doing home health aide, they're going to do an awesome job because that is a paycheck. And when your client die, now you got to go look for another client. So guess what? They're going to take care of you to make sure you live long. They're going to take care of you and make sure you're healthy. Because when we expire, they got to go find another client. So with this business, you come on board, you get your license, and you can make multiple sources of income. In this one business, we have 7 streams of income in this one business, right? For the right person, you'll know what those seven streams are. So you can become part of our movement in revolutionizing the financial industry with a system that bridges financial education and independence. Who doesn't want to be financially free, right? So here's a survey that I want you to start thinking. Here are your options. Number 1, are you still suffering from financial losses as a result of the economic downturn? 2, are you concerned about any of these followings? Maybe you have a lot of debt. Maybe you have bills. Maybe you have lack of saving for your retirement because you don't understand retirement. You don't know how much you should save. You don't know what's the number you should have by the time you're 65. You don't understand taxes. You don't understand inflation. You don't understand market risk, actual versus average. You don't understand all of it. All you know that I'm saving is something. Y'all, I don't even know where I got. My job set me up for something. I don't even know what it is, but I got something. Really? Right? No, we're not going to do that no more because you have access to us, right? What about your kids, right? We got to make sure these kids go to the best schools on the school, right? Because we know what to do, right? We're going to seek out these scholarships because we're going to talk to Mama Hart, who's an educator, and we're going to get these scholarships, webinars coming in the future, right? And in the meantime, we're going to save smart for them. No more 529, because now we know the implications with the 529. We're going to save that money in a 7702 tax IRS code, aka IUL, where your money has these 4 things, right? Can somebody put in the chat, what are the 4 things? What are the 4 things, right? What are the 4 boxes that your money should have to create a solid financial foundation, right? Or maybe not enough protection in case of disability, long-term care, illness or death, premature death. Guys, breast cancer is real. Every time I feel like a pain or a lump, I'm like thinking, oh my God, I hope it's not cancer, right? Like, we just had a business partner, her cousin passed away, sudden, 30-year-old, young, vibrant, no health issue, nothing, sudden, 30-year-old, heart attack. It shook them to the core because this came from like left-sided, like where, how? They're still asking questions, right? Number 3, do you support children, aging parent, or dependents, right? I want to make sure that, God forbid, when that time comes, my parents, when that time comes, well, guess what? We ain't doing no GoFundMe. We're not passing the collection plate. I'm not calling Coretta or Dewey Keevan and say, we have $5 there. No, we're not doing that, right? Because we know these things are inevitable. We all going to die someday. Or are you concerned about your future with your job? Your job is not safe. And these jobs are not loyal. So why not put yourself in a position to have another stream of income? Keep doing your job. You love it? Keep doing it, but put yourself in a position to have another source of income. Guys, this week alone, I onboarded 2 doctors who are making 6 figures already, but guess what? They're working hard for that 6 figure. 2 doctors, right? Number 5, do you feel that financial concept that involves investment, insurance, debt, inflation, and tax are confusing? Of course it's confusing. They're not teaching this. So this is all foreign and new to us. Number 6, when saving and invested, what would you rather to have for your money? A better return or safety? Well, guess what? You ain't got to choose. You could have both. You can have your cake and your bake and eat them all, okay? You can have a better return and your money is safe. But right now, can you say that? Can you say your 401k is safe? No, it's not, because that's how those operate, right? Number 7, what is your current age? Number 8, what is your ideal retirement age? Listen, 65 is a number in my head. I don't know why, I just like 65. But honestly, in this business, at 65, I'm still gonna be working. Why would I stop? I love this business. I love meeting people. I love traveling. I love helping. I love teaching. Why would I stop? No way, right? Number 9, do you want to learn how to get your children into a good college with proper funding? Yes or no? 10, do you want to learn more how money works so you could build a proper financial foundation and get in our workshops Mondays and Thursdays? For $125, that is the best investment you will ever make in your life. Because I went to NYU and boy, it cost me way more than $125 and I never learned anything about money. So the worst case scenario, you spend $125 to get enrolled. You're going to learn more about money, even if you don't do the business. And you're going to know what to do for your own family and future. Number 11, are you interested in making more money? Of course, everybody should. Everybody should, because nothing ain't getting cheaper. And number 12, do you want to explore new business career in the fastest growing industry, financial services? It's not real estate. It's not real estate. Ask Siri, ask Google, ask ChatGPT, ask AI, which is the fastest and the biggest industry? Financial services, number 1. Number 2, real estate. We have a joke in this saying, a real estate license will put you in the house, but our license will keep you in the house. Our license is going to make sure that house stay in your bloodline. that it don't matter how long you're gone, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generation, that house is there waiting for them. That house is waiting for them because you're going to put things in place with our license, right? So real estate is going to buy you the house, but our license will keep you in the house and will keep the house in your bloodline. Financial services. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for being on for Gavin grand opening. And I'm going to turn it back over to him. We always like to close off by saying, please, please, please do not let this fall on deaf ears, right? We know it's a lot of information. Some of it you've probably never heard. So guess what? Get in touch with the person who invited you so you can schedule a one-on-one and let us know your feedback. Let us know what you're interested in. What is it you want to learn more about? What is it you think you need help with? Everybody's situation is going to be different, right? We don't know your age. We don't know your goal. We don't know what you have. So let's schedule a one-on-one to help you move the needle. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Gavin. Oh, I think I muted you. I muted you when I muted everyone. So you're just going to have to unmute your mic.
Thanks everyone for supporting us and being on this Zoom session. I appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to Odetta. I think she did a pretty good job. Very, very good job. She's super passionate about what she does. I think if she didn't have to sleep, she'd be doing this all night. Yeah. Every day I get texts from Odetta. I get a WhatsApp from Odetta. You know, she's super passionate about what she does and she believes in what she does. I don't know what resonated with you guys, but whatever resonated, just reach out to the person that invited you. Just reach out to me, let us know. And we'll see what we can do from there, probably arrange a one-to-one, as Odetta said. This is a great industry, and I think, you know, either way, if you become a client or you want to get into business and you want to learn more, as I said, I was pretty blown away with the IUL, and that is probably one of the best products I think the company has. And if you want to sit down on one-on-one and learn more about the IUL, I think you too will be blown away. I think two things matter when you're trying to invest and have your money grow. It's time and the interest rate. And I know some of us don't have time. And the time is now then, because we don't know how much time we have. You know, we could be here today and gone tomorrow. We want to leave a legacy for our children. We want to set them up for life, etc. So these are things we have to think about and, you know, be serious about. But again, I want to say thank you all. I appreciate it. I see a lot of you supported me, and I thank you guys. And I see I have a lot of workmates, a lot of friends, you know. And again, thank you. Thank you all. Good night. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for the invite.
Welcome.
Oh.